Combat vehicles assisted by a number of countries to Ukraine began to operate in counterattacks against Russia in eastern Ukraine. Even so, the Russian side emphasized that they had so far been able to counteract the tanks deployed by Ukraine. Russia claims it destroyed at least 7 German-made Leopard tanks and 5 American-made Bradley vehicles within 48 hours, while fending off a Ukrainian counterattack. Although Russia reported that Ukraine had penetrated part of the Russian defense line, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky acknowledged that his military was engaged in attack and defense operations, a day after President Vladimir Putin said Russia had repelled the first attack. Russia's defense ministry said it had repelled more than a dozen Ukrainian attacks over the past day from 3 main directions. Russia has destroyed a company of armored vehicles of the 128th Mountain Assault Brigade in the Zaporizhzhia region. During the last day, the Ukrainian armed forces continued unsuccessful offensive attempts in the Donetsk, southern Donetsk, and Zaporizhzhia directions, he said. Reuters could not immediately verify battlefield reports from either side, but was able to verify the location, though not the date of the video showing Russian drones attacking Ukrainian manned tanks in the Zaporizhzhia region. Russian military officials said Ukrainian troops had broken through a section of Russian lines south of the town of Velika Novosilka, and briefly captured several villages as Russian troops withdrew to higher ground. Vladimir Rogov, a Russian-appointed official in the Russian-controlled part of the Zaporizhzhia region, said Russian troops then recaptured the village. Ukraine says it has seized territory near Bakhmut, which fell to Russia last month. The Russian Ministry of Defense published several videos and images over the past few days showing numerous attacks on Ukrainian armored vehicles and manned tanks from Ka-52 combat helicopters and drones. In footage released by the ministry, the drones are seen attacking tanks in the Zaporizhzhia region, where the Kiev forces have so far focused their counteroffensive. Reuters was able to verify the existence of the video's location, 2 miles south of the village of Molotokmachka in Zaporizhzhia, by lines of vegetation, patches of plants and buildings matching satellite imagery of the area. Meanwhile, Ukraine insists that it was Russia that blew up the Kakhovka Dam, which caused flooding in several areas of Kherson. Ukraine's Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar said the Kakhovka Dam was blown up by Russian troops to prevent Ukrainian troops from advancing in the southern Kherson region. Ukraine accuses Russian troops of blowing up the dam from inside the hydroelectric plant. The site has been under Russian occupation since the initial weeks of the Russian invasion in February last year. The explosion of the Kakhovka hydroelectric power station was apparently carried out with the aim of preventing the Ukrainian defense forces from launching an attack in the Kherson sector, Maliar said. He said the action, which led to massive flooding that inundated towns and villages, trapped residents and wiped out entire homes. It also aims to help enable the deployment of Russian reserves to the Zaporizhzhia and Bakhmut areas. Meanwhile, Moscow blamed Ukraine for destroying the dam. Each side accused the other of shooting civilians as rescue efforts were made. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Saturday that both offensive and defensive operations were taking place in Ukraine. He gave no details. An army spokesman said that counterattacking Ukrainian troops had advanced up to 1,400 meters in sections of the front line near the eastern town of Bakhmut. The Ukrainian ground forces said that soldiers from the 68th Separate Hunter Brigade had liberated the village of Blahodatyn in the Donetsk region. They did not provide details, but a video was published showing several Ukrainian soldiers planting a Ukrainian flag in the window of a heavily damaged building. The invaders resisted to the last drop of blood, but could not withstand the uncontrollable onslaught of the wolves, said the armed forces of Ukraine.